Wooden mallet is a very handy tool in your shop. I use mine for installing new handles, tapping on prong centers, drive centers into a blank, and occasionally tapping on a chisel to cut away some nub of wood. One of the nice things about it is it's such a great, easy beginner project, and it only takes a few tools and very little skills. Hi y'all, Mike Peace Woodturning. Welcome to my shop. If you're interested in more woodturning videos, please subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you won't miss any future videos. When I have a new turner in my shop for a lesson, it's nice when we have the time to actually turn a project, and there's not a lot of suitable projects for somebody brand new with very little skills, but this is one of them, turning a mallet. Matter of fact, at a class a few years ago, this was one of the first projects we did at John C. Campbell Folk School for a weekend class that I conducted, and with great success. Let's start with the wood. What kind of wood works best for mallet? Well, a hard, dense wood, such as could be Bradford pear, could be beech, hard maple, Osage orange, any number of them. But it doesn't have to be one of these. Free wood is good wood. In the project we're going to turn today with this, we're going to use a piece of red oak from a red oak tree that came out of my yard just a few weeks ago. And this is going to have the pith in it. It's not ideal. There's a good chance it might get a few cracks in it. So what? It's still a mallet. It'll still work. More ideally would be a section of wood further away from the pith, out near the edge, or quarter sawn be even better, and that would work great. Size-wise, kind of depends on your mallet, but we're looking at a piece about 10 inches long and somewhere around 3 to 4 inches in diameter. So let's sketch out where we're going with this. We're going to need a block of wood about 10 to maybe 10.5 inches. It's going to have a slight slope on the head of the mallet. It's going to have a little slope into the handle. The handle is going to be about 1 3/8 based on your grip. In the middle, the thickest part, that's going to be about the same size as the little bead we're going to make it easier, not your handle not to slip off. So it's going to be somewhat crested in the middle, a little bit smaller toward the bead and to the handle. And we want this end to be flat so it'll sit on a table. We're going to knock off these corners. And that's the gist of it. This dimension here, finished dimension, is going to be about 2.5 to 3.5 inches. There's going to be a difference in diameter between the end and here of, maybe somewhere, it could be anywhere from 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch smaller, because we do want this nice, even, straight slope. Okay, we're going to start by marking centers, which is going to eyeball it, nothing fancy. We're marking the center of this block of wood, not necessarily, if it's got the pith, not necessarily the center of the pith. We'll just mark that. We'll mark the other end. And then we're going to hammer in our 4-prong drive center that comes with virtually every lathe. Give it a good bite. Doesn't matter if it comes off now, because it's going to fall into those little slots we hammered in. Bring up the tailstock. This is a great project for a mini lathe. I'm not doing this on my mini lathe because the camera setup is optimized for my big lathe here. Lock everything down, crank it in. Set up a tool rest. Long tool rest is ideal. Rotate and make sure everything's going to clear. Now, if we have a branch or a small trunk of a tree like this, it could very well have branches coming out the side, which is going to create knots, and that's ingrain. That's very, very hard. Normally on this type of project, I would use a spindle roughing gouge. I'd use a spindle roughing gouge. That's that C-shaped flute that typically has a tang, only used for knocking edges off of wood where the grain is running parallel with the lathe bed. But with this weak tang and hitting this kind of end grain, that might be a little stretch to use this. Might put a little too much force on it. So for this, if I have branches sticking out, I would prefer to have use a bowl gouge. My video mixing software locked up on me, and I had to reboot the computer and lost the footage as I was rough turning the shape of the mallet, so I'm just sticking in this file to talk over. So basically I just rounded it to a cylinder, and then I marked off the 4 inches for the mallet head, and took down and started shaping the handle, rough bead on one end, and then we pick it up here at the next piece of good. So now I'm going to switch from the handle to the mallet, and I'll come back to this. We're just going to make a gentle slope to reduce the diameter from here to here by, maybe 3/8 of an inch. And I'll use this, again, use the spindle roughing gouge for that. I've got a slight incline on the tool rest to assist with that. Work my way back. I'm looking up here at the horizon to see any shadow lines. I wanted to get it fairly flat, so I look for any bumps. Try not to lift your tool off in and out of the wood, but try to keep it as long a run as possible. So let's just see what this looks like. And I'm going to get a straight edge and sit it on there, and it's like it rocks a little bit. I've got a little bit of high point here in the middle. Got a little bit of bark. I'm not going to worry about that because I don't want to make this mallet too light. You know, it's going to be a rough tool. That's okay. Switch back to the bowl gouge. Pick up, I'm going to start the slope somewhere around here and just bring it down into the handle. So I start with where most of the wood's got to come away and work my way back gradually. Just a push cut. Okay, this is a little fat now over here, so I'll come back here and finish working on the handle. If you're working on your skew skills, while this is still very fat, this is an opportunity to work on that. You could also do it over here. If you're using a skew, you're going to come up and cut. This is a clock face at the 11 o'clock position to take that cut. We're going to go from large to small, but first I want to chamfer the end. I'm just going to take this skew and knock off the corner. And that's all it takes. I don't want a sharp edge there that's going to get chipped or broken in use. So now anchor the tool, ride the bevel, lift the handle till it cuts, move in the direction of the cut. And I'm not going to bother to sand this. I've got a pretty nice finish. I've got a knot in it, got a little bark. It's not a beautiful thing, but it's going to take a beating, so it won't matter. So now I'm going to do the same thing with the handle to get it smooth, so I don't even have to bother to sand it. Let's see how it feels. It's too big for me, so I've got to keep working it down. So again, this is a great opportunity for some skill practice with a skew. And you could certainly not be using a skew, and you could do all this with the spindle roughing gouge. Drop the tool rest. You want to be cutting on center, so the tool rest is going to go up and down based on the thickness of your tools. And now all I've got to do is I could touch it up with sandpaper if I want. I could get in here with a spindle gouge and probably clean this up just a little bit, this join. Let me do that. You could use the spindle gouge, it's similar to a skew, and use it for drag cut to smooth off the end here. Smooth the handle. Round off this a little bit more. And we're pretty much done. We could take this over to the bandsaw and trim that end, or we could use a hand saw. I could probably touch this up with a bit of sandpaper and a couple of rough spots, but I wouldn't get too carried away. We could add some type of finish to it, probably some kind of oil. I wouldn't get too carried away about the finish. You could leave it raw and it would be fine. But if you want to look a little prettier, a little linseed oil, a little mineral oil, antique oil. Heck, you could use wipe on. I wouldn't use anything that's a film finish. Don't put any lacquer on it. Use some kind of oil finish that's going to go in the wood. If you want to sand the handle because you've got some tool marks, I wouldn't get carried away. Probably 120 grit, at the most 180 grit will be plenty. You can see why I wouldn't get too carried away about the sanding or finishing, because these things are rough tools and they're gonna take a beating. So a quick and easy project for you beginners. And if you want to get a little more sophisticated, or if you're an intermediate advanced turner, you know, I've got another video on making a dead blow mallet where you drill a hole, fill it up with shot or BBs, and put a plug in it. If you're interested in that, click on the link above. If you're a new turner looking for more beginner types of projects, I've got a whole playlist here. It's got over 50 beginner type of projects. If you're looking more on skills and general information and what tools to buy, from lathe to chuck to turning tools, you might want to click on this basic wood turning for beginners playlist. It's got over 50 videos appropriate for someone just starting up. That's got a lot to learn. And remember, y'all stay safe. Come on back, you hear?